you understand me? Yes, Corporal! Let's go then!
Phase 1 training takes you from a civilian to a trained soldier. It's progressive, designed to build individual and team knowledge and skills. At the same time, it will be demanding on the mind, body and spirit. You will overcome personal challenges and achieve newfound goals. The majority of you will pass through the CMS course unscathed. A minority of you may succumb to an injury or require the support of the medical team if you are unwell during the course. If you are unfortunate to sustain a musculoskeletal injury during Phase 1 training, the medical team are on hand to support you with timely advice, guidance and treatment.
I was running up Heartbreak Hill, missed my footing, slipped and my foot came up towards my shin, overextending the tendon at the back of my calf.
On the last day of halfway, we were doing a last bound. I got halfway up the hill and my shoulder started to feel a little bit sore. Tried to push on as much as possible. When I got to the other side of the hill, put my shoulder out and just a horrible pop. Looked up to my training team and was like, unfortunately, I can't carry on anymore.
I got to week 9 and I started to feel a bit of pain in my glute area and I ignored it. I just thought, oh, I must have pulled something, and I ignored it until I was in my final week and I went on exercise. And I think I knew if I mentioned something about my injury, if it was bad, I knew it would happen. I'd be taken out of troop.
A medical centre multidisciplinary team is typically made up of a medical officer, so that's a fully trained doctor. We have consultant access, physiotherapists, exercise rehabilitation instructors, and we can also tap into the services of our local RIU where we have podiatrists and other sports exercise medicine consultants.
We had a guy come into our troop from rehab. He said that it's where people go to fester and sort of very rarely do people come out. Immediately it was bred into me that rehab was it. You were going to get stuck in there for months and months on end, and it was basically just a waiting game until they got rid of you.
You feel like you've messed up yourself. But that being said, it's an injury. It has to be dealt with.
It's extremely important that the soldier reports the injuries as soon as they're aware, because we know that where an acute injury is concerned, the quicker that we can get eyes on, diagnose and treat, the best possible chance they have of staying on course.
Rehab, well, generally our purpose is to pick up any recruits that are injured and then get them back, discharged back into CMS. We build a foundation of strength whilst also building aerobic capacity and getting them ready so they're more robust and less susceptible to injury as they move through their training. So the first stage of rehab is earlies. Now within earlies there's a lot to cover, so we have that initial assessment with the recruit and then we identify any sort of factors, causations of why they're here in the first place.
My first day in a rehab, a lot of the recruits there gave me their impressions of how it was, and it felt like a bit of a negative space initially. But then we get round to the physio and the staff there and our corporals, and they really gelled together to help me motivate and keep going. Initially negative sort of preconceptions, but then easily dismissed within the first week. I engaged in aquatherapy, which is using a swimming pool to alleviate your muscles but still getting physical activity, so you don't lose any of the physical fitness you might have brought from troop.
The fundamental part of earlies is education firstly, and then getting the movement patterns right, and then building that foundation all the way through up until then the strength marker, which is at the end of earlies, which is their gate pass into inters. Inters is where they complete their dynamic week and then they complete their run tolerance program. If they complete all of this pain-free, they complete their 2K output test, they then move on to the final tab, which is the end transition part. Once they've completed all of this, they're upgraded and finally transitioned into the reconditioning platoon.
In the first week I went to see welfare a couple of times because, like I said, we had been in training, everything had been going really well. I thought I was going to be passing out in a few weeks' time, so I went to welfare to talk through how I was feeling and why I was feeling in that way and what was the options that were available to me and how to deal with how I was feeling. Most of it was pastoral support, just talking through things. It's always useful to talk to the welfare team in any capacity, I think.
So welfare support recruits, we can support and help them. We're all serving soldiers, but we're out of the chain of command. If we have to refer them onto the Army Welfare Service, we will do that. If they've got a problem that we can't help them with here, everything's treated with confidentiality. I think it's the hope to achieve is to encourage them and support them with the whole 14-week journey. We will do, of course we will.
Reconditioning for us then is the task of getting these guys and girls fit enough back to form back into CMS and the relevant week of training that they come out of safely, effectively, but ultimately moving faster, stronger and creating that soldier athlete mentality to be able to get them through phase 1 training. I actually went through this experience myself and I know that for some of them mindset is absolutely everything. It's that uncertainty on how long you'll be spending in reconditioning, when can I go back into basic training? You kind of have to settle their nerves by saying there is an end goal, there is an end state, and all we ask from you is everything you've got with 100% focus, invest yourself physically and mentally to be able to get yourself back into that week of training and pass out of phase 1.
Our mission statement is to deliver unified, safe, efficient and accountable primary health care to maximise your health and deliver personnel medically fit for operations. In most cases, it's achievable to receive treatment from the clinical team while still remaining on course. However, if you require more definitive care and need longer to mend, it may be necessary to come off course and fully recover in a dedicated rehabilitation platoon. This programme will take you from the earliest stage that we can safely commence your care through to the later stage where you'll simulate trade-specific tasks, recommence running and load carriage.
It was long for me because I didn't report my injury when it started.
I would say report it to your corporal as soon as you can.
If I could tell them the realities of it, I would say stay positive, don't worry.
This is not the first time I'm going to have an injury in my career, so next time I know how to deal with it.
I will be fitter and I will be more prepared.
I'm glad it did happen because I've learned a lot.
You will spend a lot less time in rehab.
It will be over before you know it.
Get it sorted, don't dwell on it.